And I was really glad that you left that comment actually, because it got me thinking how much poor quality stuff we are spending our money on. And you would imagine that if you're going to go and spend £5,000 on a bag that you're going to get quality, and you would be wrong. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I had a really good comment from one of you the other day on Instagram, and it was actually a video request, and you wanted to know, it really is to do with luxury not being luxury anymore, and you wanted to know, how can you avoid the pitfall of spending your hard-earned money on, let's say, a designer bag that falls apart, or the hardware scratches, or the stitching doesn't line up, or the flaps don't line up? And you had kind of all these questions, and it also extended to clothing as well, because you were saying not everyone can afford ready to wear. How can you find a really good brand that is like, let's say, contemporary, that hangs together? How do you know what it is that you're looking for? I don't know what's happened over the last few years, but honestly, I feel as though prices in luxury have gone up, but quality has not gone up. And I think it depends on the brand. Some brands, I feel that their quality is actually worse than others, and I'm going to come on to that in 1 second. And other brands are kind of okay. And then actually when I was doing this video and I was thinking, what brands can I tell you are really good? There's not many that I can think of that I can actually say to you, in my opinion, I think the quality of these brands is excellent. I've got four brands, and yet the list of brands I've got where the quality could be improved is a lot longer. So I'm going to share with you my thoughts on this, how you can dodge buying what would you call it, something that doesn't last very long, but also I'm going to share with you some of my absolute fails, things that I've bought over the years that have properly fallen apart. And some of these you will have seen before, because I have shown them before, but for anyone who's new, you might not have seen these, so I'll show them here so that you can see. Let's talk about some of the worst brands for this. And this is just my opinions, okay? So don't, you could feel free to disagree, feel free to agree, and definitely feel free to share your thoughts, whichever side of the fence you're on, in the comments below. I always love it when you do that. But for me, my first worst brand to buy from is Louis Vuitton, and I spoke about this only a couple of videos ago. But my reasoning and rationale for suggesting Louis Vuitton is that I don't feel their items are really high quality, particularly their canvas pieces. I've got some of their canvas pieces, and from my perspective and from my point of view, they don't feel expensive, particularly when you compare it to actually how much these bags are. These pieces don't feel their price tag. But also it kind of goes beyond that. It's to do with quality, and as I said in that video, another thing I find frustrating with Louis Vuitton is their hardware. Their hardware does not age well, like honestly, it really doesn't age well at all. It scratches up quite badly, quite quickly, and it looks tatty quite quickly. And I will say, if you do have your eye on something from Louis Vuitton and this is currently putting you off, you can actually buy protective stickers, and I will link to them below. So if there is anything from Louis Vuitton and you're thinking, I don't really want scratched hardware like what you've got, because that's pretty bad, try out these protective stickers. I must confess, I've never tried them, so I don't know, can't confirm how good they are, but I know they exist. The next brand is Chanel, and Chanel is a brand that I'm torn with because I really love the brand and I can't see myself ever not shopping from there. I like their stuff, I like their heritage, I just like Chanel. But I can't deny I've bought things over the years from there that have been poor quality. Certainly I have bought things that don't feel like they're hefty price tags. And something that you may have seen before if you've been with me a while is this. So back in COVID times, when you could buy over the phone at Chanel, these little pouches came out, and they came in different colours, and it was in like a spring summer collection. I think it was 2021, possibly then. And I saw these pouches, and there was like a wrist or an arm one, and then there was the little rectangle one with the top handle. And I've managed to find a boutique, and it was in Selfridges, who had both of these items in stock because they'd sold out, and I bought it over the phone and I unboxed it in a video. And as I unboxed it, I thought, oh my God, it looks fake. It looks, honestly, if you ask me, they looked fake. And I thought, I can't look you all in the eye. I mean, obviously I can't see you in the eye, but metaphorically speaking, I can't look you all in the eye and go, oh my God, look at this, isn't it amazing? Because it clearly didn't look amazing. And so I just kind of showed you how it was and left it really up to you and your interpretation of it. And pretty much everyone was just like, wow, that's really bad. Thankfully, I got my money back with no questions asked. Because I hadn't seen it before I bought it and I paid for it over the phone, they were fine taking it back. If I had seen that in real life, I would not have bought it. But I've also seen things like this at Chanel over the years. This is a boy wallet, and as you can see, the kind of flap on the front of it is not straight. And this was out on display. And I have seen before as well bags from there, like the Business Affinity years ago. They had one in stock and the flap was on a 45-degree angle. I'm not joking, it was bad. And I was surprised that it was even on sale, because it wasn't just a little bit out, it was like a lot out, it was visibly out. And sometimes I feel like these discrepancies and these issues make things look fake, and when you're spending this kind of money, obviously you don't want your stuff to look fake. Then briefly, the Lady Dior Ultra Matte, and I had one of you asking me about this bag the other day and how this bag wears. I kind of feel conflicted about this bag actually, because I bought it in 2019 and it actually is my most used bag. So it does look tired and it does look like it's been used a lot, because it has. But there are things with it that have happened over time, although they're not deal breakers for me, but I will share them with you. So the first thing is the ultra matte paint that you've got on the handles over time can rub off, and it has a bit on mine. So the black paint you've got that's matte on the top of the handles, on mine the loops that connect the handle to the bag, it has worn through there. The other thing with this leather is, in one way it's very hard wearing, and in another way it's really not. It's pretty good actually against scuffs and knocks, I have found, but it's not good if you have rings. So if you take a look at the handles on this bag, there is like chunks taken out of the actual leather, and I did that really early on with this bag, not realizing that my engagement ring was catching on the bag and was fraying the leather. Now it's happened, I don't care. It's happened. I use the bag, I enjoy it, but there are a couple of things there to say that I do think the bag wears well, but at the same time there is that problem to do with like rings and jewelry, anything that might catch it. So how can you avoid buying junk? Poor quality stuff, because luxury no longer means luxury. I feel like luxury has become almost like a fast fashion thing. It's become very accessible. Luxury, if you go back 20, 30, 40 years, luxury was something that was exclusively for the few, and the quality and the service and the experience that you got with luxury was what you would imagine that it should be. Over the years, I feel as luxury has become more accessible, even the experience that you get in boutiques has changed. For example, I've had a lot of you tell me that you've had poor experiences in boutiques, or you've gone in to buy something that's expensive and you haven't been greeted with kind of the excitement that you're feeling at the time. And again, if you go back years, luxury used to mean that you would potentially be taken into like a private side room, shown the items that you're interested in, transaction would be done there. Now it's all just done on a counter front, unless you are a super exclusive client, and then you do get taken into these like rooms, like, you know, Chanel have got their exclusive boutiques only for like high net worth individuals. So it does still exist, but it's been watered down. And the same thing I feel can be said for the quality of the stuff that they're selling. So the first thing I would say, in order to avoid buying something dodgy, as I just mentioned, is to check YouTube, blogs, and Instagram, and even TikTok. You know, a lot of people now do wear and tear videos, and I personally find those types of videos incredibly helpful when I'm thinking about buying something. It really gives you a good insight because you're watching someone who has road tested the item first. Have a look at also this amazing channel, which is, I think he is on YouTube, but mainly on TikTok and Instagram, and he's called Tanner Levenstein, and he literally buys designer bags and he cuts them up. And he does it with a view to being able to break down the item, look at the quality of the leather, look at how many pieces go together to make the item in question, looking at the style of the stitching, and from that he tells you how much he would estimate that particular item would cost the brand to make. It's absolutely fascinating, and he also touches on quality as well, and whether he thinks the quality of something is worth the price tag. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to join me in another one, I will link to a couple just up here, and you can choose which one you hopefully want to come and hang out in after this. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in one of these.